Good day, YouTube. Today is Veterans Day. Yep, November 11th, 2017. Shout out to all the men and women of our armed forces that are out doing what they do so we can do what we do. We couldn't do it without you, folks. Thank you very much for your service. And what are we doing today? We are doing all kinds of stuff today. Rust-Oleum paint. Anybody ever paint plywood with Rust-Oleum? I do, and it really comes out very nice. So this is, we're inside the, what we call the gathering room at the barn. Gathering place. A friend of mine made that for me with a laser. Anyway, so painting a wall. We're just going to do this one wall. I'm just going to do this one wall because we got this like soda fountain bar kind of thing going on. I'm gonna get a couple high top tables with red stools and rearrange. Got rid of a couch, got rid of cabinets, kind of rearranging the decorations around here. All of my junk. Well, it's stuff. It's my junk. So anyway, we're painting today. I'm hoping that dries enough. You know, Rust-Oleum takes forever and a day to dry. So I'm kind of waiting for it to dry, hoping to give it another coat and get around all the edges. And we're going to do the trim in white. So that'll take a little while. We'll be able to start putting this back together next week if I have time. What are we doing? Let's get out into the barn. I'll show you what we're working on. I did get the carburetor kits and stuff for the 83 Goldwing Aspen K. The kits are here. I got fuel filters. I got a rebuild kit for the rear master cylinder. All those parts made it in this week, but I don't know that I'll have the time to work on this weekend, just because I wake up and I want to work on something different. So let's cruise out here to the barn. I got another project that just rolled in, and I mean just rolled in a little bit ago. My neighbors gave this to me. He's been going to bring it over here for a while. He finally noticed I was here and he was home. It's a Pinto. Yeah, not the kind of Pinto you think it is. It's a Pinto J.C. Penney. Okay, I've already forgot the manufacturer of the scooter that J.C. Penney sold under the Pinto name. You'll have to Google it or something. So I didn't get a title or anything like that, but it is a moped. And it uses a push engine. It's a 2 horsepower. And I thought, well, if it uses the push engine, at least I should be able to get a part or two for it, right? Unlike the Riverside Silver Pigeon, which I just learned this last week, that the overhead valve 125cc engine that was factory in this scooter only came in this model of scooter that they made, this being manufactured by Mitsubishi. So that's the only scooter they ever put that engine in. So you take a rare scooter and then this one particular model and then one particular engine that they didn't put in anything but this scooter makes parts dang hard to come by. So there we go. So what's the scooter got on it? Let's look. It has 155 miles on it. We'll just call them hard miles because it looks like the seat's rotted and things are rusty and so forth. But hey, it was free. So what are we really doing today? Stepvan's in the shop, by the way, which is awesome because I have sold some cars and I made some room and so forth. And what have I done? I got the seat kind of finished. I have it sitting in a great spot. I didn't have to do the modifications that I thought I was going to have to do. All I had to do is just get it finish the install. And it is in a good seating position for me to drive right now. It's all the way forward. It's adjustable. It'll come back 4 to 6 inches or so. For driving, it's a good spot right there where it sits. For me getting in and out, however, I will have it back 4 to 6 inches, leaving this much room for the rack. So this rack was old telecommunications rack, but a 19-inch rack is standard for it, no matter what you're putting in it. Of course, I'm going to put audio equipment in it, and that's a pretty good spot to have that rack. So it'll actually serve as protection. So I'm going to carry speakers and stuff in here as well. And if I ever have to hit the brakes hard and something comes forward, I want that rack to be between me and that flying speaker or something. It's going to be bolted to the floor and then bolted into the ceiling. I had to cut it a little bit short, but remember, I'm going to put plywood up on the ceiling, 3/8 plywood, and then we'll bolt this up. So I'm gonna have to just put a little bit of backing in the ceiling, which is kind of why it's sitting here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some insulation in the wall, put 1 sheet of plywood up today. So I'm not really looking to knock this whole thing out or anything, but I would just like to get 1 sheet of plywood up in here so I can go ahead and bolt the rack and I don't have to work in behind it. And it just gives me that thought process about finishing this up. So while I'm doing this, one of my previous videos I had set up and made what I called a hot wire. I took a nichrome wire that has a built-in resistance. You run a battery charger across it, so you pass a couple, 2 or 3 amps of current through it. It heats up the wire for cutting styrofoam. But since then, I picked up a hot knife at a yard sale for a couple, $5 or something like that. And wow, does that work good. So I thought I'd show you cutting styrofoam with a hot knife. And let's cut a piece. I have it ready. The hot knife has a trigger on it, so it doesn't just sit there and be hot. You have to push the trigger. And so we're cutting this 4x8 sheet. This is 1.5 inch styrofoam, so it has that trigger. So we'll pull the trigger down, we'll let it heat up a little bit. So I just have a pencil mark on it, so we just have to follow the line. So 1.5 inch styrofoam. It has, you can see on that sheet there, it's got like a foil back. It's pretty thin, but a foil back nonetheless. So, ooh, she's hot. She's starting to burn off the styrofoam from my previous cut. So let's get this thing rolling. Cut another piece. Let's see if I can knock you over in the process. I'm not quite long enough armed to reach it from the other side. So, you've heard the saying, it's like a hot knife through butter. So this is a hot knife through styrofoam, and it is a lot like cutting butter with a hot knife. And that's it. Look at that. No fuss, no muss. Let's hope it fits, right? Okay, back off the stand. One-handed. Let's go back in and see if it'll fit. So, guess you should have measured that one. I guess they all ain't 30 inches. That one was. That one's not. Well, I assumed they was all 30 inches, but they ain't. So anyway, I'll have to put it in that stud bay, and then I'll have to cut it for the window. Oops, that's all right. I got to do this one anyway. So because these were 30 inches, I've got 60, which means there's about 36 inches left. And where is my tape measure? Okay, don't have one with me. Yeah, dude, it's right here. So I'll cut the last one. I can probably tuck it in there a little bit into that hole. I'll cut the next one about 31 3/4. Give a little room. 31 3/4 will do. So anyway, that's what we're doing today. I'm going to finish insulating up to this point and do the bottom piece there. Cut 1 sheet of plywood, get it screwed in, get the hole cut for the window. Not going to bother trimming it today. And then I'm going to bolt this rack down, and so I won't have to work in behind it too much. So that's what we're doing today in the Stepvan. If I get that much done today and get my wall painted, then I'll feel pretty good about what we've accomplished today. So that's progress. You know what? Sometimes it's not getting things all the way finished, but it's moving forward. So anyway, thanks you guys for tagging along on this little deal. There's a swap meet next weekend. I thought I'd drive this to the swap meet. That's why I kind of thought I'd get a few of these little things done. And tomorrow I might clean up that spot. You see the heater hose that I have routed there. That's where the heater goes. And I have a previous video where I rebuilt that rusty old sucker. Excuse me. I just need to clean up that floor area, get it primed, put some paint on it, because I'll never get to it again. And put the heater back in tomorrow. That would be awesome. Get it hooked up. Then I'll have a heater. And there's a little hole going through the firewall. I need to find some of that defroster hose, 3-inch diameter, I think it is. I might have some. I can't remember. If not, hopefully I can find it. Then I can hook the defrosters up. That'd be awesome. So, I know I'm rambling, but I got some more styrofoam to cut and some plywood to cut. And you don't need to watch me do that. I might give you a little update later at the end of this video. If not, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and we'll catch you again. Well, here's a little check-in, middle of the day, working on the Boyertown merchandiser. So, we have the one wall insulated. Boy, that hot knife, that's the ticket. I picked it up for a few bucks at a yard sale. Only in the maybe information I could offer, tips and tricks, will be just cut it tight. And then it just stays there. Nice and tight. Fits nice and tight. I put the piece, so I had a 4x8 sheet. Obviously, I put them horizontally. And I ended up with a piece at the bottom. I just put my pieces all at the bottom. I don't know. You could do it either way, but there it is. Now I got my plywood cut. I just have it hanging on a couple of C-clamps. I'm going to start screwing this thing in place. I left the plywood just right at this outer frame. I want to make a frame, like a picture frame, if you will, that goes around this. I needed to leave room for some frame to do this on the inside and block all that out. I have this the deal that opens the window. It's just in a bad spot actually, but we'll just try to keep this thin. Might have to put a little notch in it or something, because there's still a knob that goes on that so I can reach it. And once this gets up there, so my cut's good. Lines up real good. I just need to rip some material of some kind, and covering over this is going to be carpet. So I'll do trim in some sort of wood, not plywood, and stain it and stuff and put it on after the carpet, because I need something to cover that rough edge. If you saw some of my other videos, my goal is to leave the corner for all wires and cables and stuff to route, and I will build a board that will mount. Where's my light here? Okay, there's better. A board that will hinge off the roof after I get the plywood on it, come down here at an angle and rest on the plywood here, and all my lights will be in the corner, shining at an angle towards the center of the van on both sides. So it will be well lit. Shouldn't be glaring, like an LED puck light, something like that. And I will probably do this so that I can individually control the ones over my DJ station, which is here. Sometimes I want light just enough to see by, but not light up the whole interior so the whole world is drawn to what's going on in here, when they should be drawn to something that's going on stage. So that's the plan. That's the update. I'll go ahead and get this thing screwed in place, and we'll see what time of day it is. I might actually go down and get another sheet of plywood. Having plywood just stacked up around the shop is a pain, so I don't like to get more than I think I will put in the day. Same with styrofoam, because then I end up just moving it and spend more time moving it than it takes just to run down and go get one. So the Home Depots and Lowe's of the world are less than 2 miles from my shop, so it's convenient to just swing by. So I might go ahead and sheet this whole wall. I'm on a roll. So I didn't have I bought 2 sheets of styrofoam. I have almost nothing left over. That's my scrap pile. And that's it. That's all I got. And that's the piece of board that came out of the window hole. So, and the interior will probably change to maybe vinyl or something in the cab area, over plywood again. So that's kind of it. That's the update, and I think we'll just call this a wrap, because you can envision what this might look like all screwed to the wall. Thanks again, you guys, and we'll catch you later.